Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to those of joining us from different time zones. Welcome to the Ignite Early Season Establishment and Yield in Cereal Crops webinar, hosted by Lallemand Plant Care. I'm Brenton Bellows, Regional Account Rep with Lallemand, of course, and I'll be kicking off our 30-minute presentation. So let's begin with a brief overview of Lallemand. Founded in the late 19th century, Lallemand is a privately held Canadian company specializing in the development, production, and marketing of yeast and bacteria. Since 1952, the company has been owned by the Chagnon family and has grown to encompass 12 different distinct business units, including animal nutrition, pharmaceuticals, and yeast for distilled spirits and baking. Here's a quick overview of the Lallemand Plant Care microbial-based solutions, which span three different key divisions: broadacre, specialty agriculture, and forestry. Today, we will focus on the LALRISE segment of our solutions, specifically the LALRISE Start SC product. In the broadacre category, you may be familiar with some of our popular brands such as LALFix, lineup of inoculants, as well as Lallstep Contans, a biofungicide known for its effectiveness in eliminating sclerotinia. Our presenters today are Denis Baudet, product manager for our LALRISE brand of solutions, Nicola Waters, who is our product manager for our LALFix solutions, and Larson Nelson, technical sales representative for Manitoba West and Southeast Sask.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today with you. Thanks, Brendan, for the introduction. So my name is Denis Baudet. I'm the LALRISE product manager. LALRISE is our product umbrella brand for biofertilizers, which encompasses all plant growth promoting microorganisms like rhizobacteria and different type of fungal active ingredient as well. Today, we will talk more in depth about LALRISE Start SC, which is a product that provides a good start for a great finish for cereal crop. So I will start by introducing the why you should use plant growth promoting rhizobacteria inoculant in your day-to-day operation and why they could be particularly interesting for your to optimize your yields. And I will also explain the basic modes of action, and I will be supported by my agronomist colleague today that will also highlight some really interesting trial effort that has been conducted on the Canadian side as well. So as you can see, LALRISE Start SC is a microbial inoculant of a plant growth promoting rhizobacteria that you need to inoculate in the root zone. So the root zone is really a hotspot for microbial activity. It's really the zone of soil that is just around the roots. And that's a place where it is estimated that 20 to 50% of all photosynthetic byproduct of the plant are secreted by the roots, so which includes organic, different type of components that feed microbial activity in that root zone, like including different type of sugars, amino acid, organic acid, and vitamins as well. So that explains why we observe that there's 100 times to 1,000 times more microbes in bulk soil than in around the root zone than in bulk soil, but only 2 to 5% of the indigenous bacteria that we find in that zone of soil have plant growth promoting properties. So that's not all bacteria are made equal in that sense. So as you can see here, it was a really elegant experiment that was done where they compare a sterile soil with a native microbiome with a living microorganism inside, and it just showed that the sterile soil will have much less capacity to support optimal plant growth, and with the native microbiome in soil, you will have much more performant plant growth, plant development. So microorganisms are essential to support plant growth. And we know that the native microbiome is important to support plant growth and yields, but that agricultural practices will negatively impact this native microbiome and microbial diversity and beneficial function that they provide to support plant development. So like fertilizer application, pesticide application, tilling, monoculture are all practices that will disturb the native microbiome of soil and reduce these beneficial functionalities. So you see here that on the right side, there's nice infographics that shows in a natural soil, you have some beneficial functionalities and the cycling of nutrients to make them available for plants that are present to support the growth of plant, but in disturbed soil, we have a decline of these beneficial functionalities. So the solution to restore and amplify these functions is to inoculate or bring back a really effective population of microbial active ingredient that will help to support these beneficial functionalities. So we call that inoculating, which is the act of rapidly installing these beneficial plant growth promoting bacteria in the root zone of the plant. So that's exactly the solution that we are presenting today, LALRISE Start-AC, that will bring back these beneficial and amplify these functionalities to support plant growth. So the mode of action of the active ingredient of LALRISE Start-AC, well, it's the active ingredient is a rhizobacteria called Bacillus belizensis. So it has been not chosen out of nowhere to be the active ingredient of this product offer, but rather selected amongst 1,800 and screened amongst 1,800 strains of plant growth promoting rhizobacteria for its effectiveness at different aspects of plant growth performance that I will cover during this mode of action presentation. But it's a really effective plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. It's consistent in terms of the results that it provides in many soil condition, pH, climate zone, and soil type. And one of the reasons is because it's a really strong, it has been selected for its robustness because it's a bacteria that forms spores, which are the resistant structures of the bacteria. So it's really tolerant to different stresses, different salinity level, drought stress. So it's the resistant structure of the bacteria in soil. And that's what we concentrate in this microbial inoculant. So it's compatible also because of its robustness with most chemicals and fertilizers on the market today. So it's one of the most compatible active ingredient, microbial active ingredient that I've seen in that regard also. So the mode of action, so once you inoculate it on seed or close to the roots, so the bacteria will activate, it will colonize the surface of the root. So and establish quickly in this rhizosphere of the plant just around the root zone and on the surface of the roots, and it will feed on the exudate of the roots. And then it will secrete organic acids and enzymes that will make nutrients that are normally not available in the root zone of the plant and unlock them to make them readily available for absorption by the roots. It will also promote root development and root growth, so a more developed root architecture for more nutrient uptake. And this aspect is responsible for a lot of benefits that we see of LALRISE Start-AC for early season growth. So the root surface adhesion mode of action. So you see here, it's an experiment that we did in the lab where you see kind of white, it's a gel medium with plant roots that grow inside, and you see like the formation of white clouds around the roots. So these white clouds are the bacterial population that will follow the roots and develop along the development, the exploration of the root in soil. And when we zoom on this, it's you see on the left side, it's an electron microscopy picture that was taken of the bacterial active ingredient on the root. So they form these glues also that help the active ingredient sticks to the root and really have a consistency in the success of inoculation and implantation of the START technology in your field. So this mode of action would provide a physical protection of the bacterial inoculant around the roots against different chemicals in soil, once again, our pH levels. So protection against environmental stresses. It will provide a durable establishment of the bacterial population around the roots, and it will then allow the localized and active nutrient replenishment from the mode of action of these roots. So it will unlock many types of nutrients around the root. So the modes of action, so by secretion of different type of or organic acids to locally reduce the pH around the root zone to really make these nutrients, these mineral form of nutrients available to the plants, but also secrete, and by secretion of H plus proton also make different type of macro and micronutrients available to the plant. We will discuss more about this in some of the trials that we conducted also. But by secreting enzyme that will make also organic form of phosphate available to the plant, and siderophores, which will over time rebuild the iron level for the plant in the root zone also. So I mean, in terms of the modes of action, so if we zoom in the phosphate benefit that LALRISE Start AC can bring in your field, so it's unique properties having a dual mode of action to make phosphate available to plant, both for organic phosphate pools in soil, which can represent 30 to 90% of phosphate locked in soil, depending on soil type. So they will make that pool, they will actively replenish that pool for the plants, but also different type of mineral phosphate as well, most especially phosphate linked to calcium. So in soil with high level of calcium and in pH levels where that can be an issue, LALRISE Start AC will provide really astonishing results. Nick, my colleague, will discuss more about this also. And if I press, I don't know, Brenton, if it's possible to press split tank. You see on the right side, it's the colony of bacteria that grow on a gel medium in the lab, and you will see the secretion of organic acid that will reduce the pH, and that's what you see in the yellow, the yellow halo around the bacterial colony on the plate, and you will slowly start to see a decoloration. It will become white, so that's the solubilization of the mineral phosphate. In that case, it was calcium phosphate on that plate that will be solubilized by the bacterial population on that plate. So I think it's a really nice way to view this particular mode of action for mineral phosphate and so on. Here you have a nice infographic to summarize all that I just explained. So I should have started with this and ended with this at the same time, but it's a nice recap for you to see that basically when you inoculate LALRISE Start AC, it will colonize the surface of the roots, robustly establish in the root zone, and actively replenish available form of nutrients for the plant to uptake, including the two forms of phosphate that are generally locked in soil, organic and mineral phosphate form. So it's really important to increase the efficacy. If we go to the next slide on the benefit slide, so it will improve efficacy of fertilizer application in the field. So that's really important. So to get the most of your fertilizer investment, LALRISE Start AC will help you a long way with all the mode of action that I just described for you. It will activate root growth early for rapid establishment of the crop. So that's what we call the starter effect, and the reason the product is called LALRISE Start AC. So it will be really impactful to help early vigor in the early season vigor for your crops, and that's a really visual effect that you see early in the field when you do side-by-side trials. We have really nice pictures to show you in that sense, and overall it will help to improve your crop growth, quality, and marketable yields. So LALRISE Start AC, so here you have the specs of the product that we offer on the Canadian market for the upcoming season. So it's a highly concentrated formulation. So it's 2 × 10⁻⁻. So the SC, it's for suspended concentrate. So it's really low application rate that goes a long way. So when you apply on seeds, it's meant to be applied in furrow or on seeds. So we have specific recommendations for both. It's a 24-month shelf life in the bag, and it's also only listed for people for if it can be of interest for your particular operations. So my colleague will now highlight to you some key trials that were done with LALRISE Start SC and that represent well the benefits that it can bring to your crops.
Wonderful. Thank you, Denis. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicola Waters. I'm LALFIX product manager, but today I'm talking to you as the former field solution specialist on the broadacre side of things for Canada with Lallemand Plain Care, meaning I'm an agronomist and I was involved in some of the work that we will discuss together. So far you saw that, there's a lot of science behind the LALRISE Start SC technology, good microbiology there. But there's a question that you may have in mind, which is like, yeah, but what about in the field? What about the performance of that technology when farming happens? Does we still see some of the huge benefit that we have discussed together? So let me take you from the lab scale trials to the more like in-field work and try to answer that question if you want. So what you can see here, it's the early stage, so the lab scale. Now I know it's lab scale, so we'll try to answer that after to the question of, is this still happening in the field? But what you can see is that all the picture from, the upper part are using LALRISE Start SC on seed and the others all the control. And already from the emergence of the plant, so the early root development, you'll see that the bacteria will start the relationship with the plants and deliver some consistency in terms of emergence. So you see that, that the plants already have a better germination process when you use the Start SC technology because of that relationship with the bacteria. So that's interesting. But will that shows in the field? We'll keep moving with that. Brenton? Then we chat with Denis about that possibility of the technology to provide more nutrient. Now I remember when we first started the work on using LALRISE Start technology, we thought mostly about phosphorus. And some of you might know that looking at phosphorus uptake is really a challenge when we look at plant growth, because you cannot just look at what's happening in the soil. You got to use the plant as the vector for the plant uptake. So that's what we have done in control environment in that case, and we look at phosphorus uptake on wheat and in control environment. And what we saw, of course, was the better phosphorus uptake, but also the other nutrient, which goes down to what Denis was mentioning before about the root development and etc. So better root mass actually provides services, which is a better plant nutrition, generally speaking. So better nitrogen uptake, better potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, but also the microbes, boron, copper, zinc, manganese. Without changing the fertilization plan, you just have a plant that is more able to be resilient and dig into the soil to uptake those nutrients. And that's interesting, but still not in the field, in control environment. So moving forward, then we'll look at the different trials that we set in place. Now, if you remember the first slide on the lab scale trial, this one was not the lab scale. It was done full scale on farm in Saskatchewan. And we had in the first years already of launching that technology, we had a lot of people asking, what's in that field? Because I can see the line. And that's related to that starting effect that we discussed before. By providing a plant that have a better germination, so already from the start, you have a plant that will show some effect of better plant growth and earlier establishment, which was great and something we noticed on a lot of trials. So we won't show you thousands of pictures and etc. But let's dig into some of the data, because the big question you may have is, oh, that's awesome, but what about the yield? Because at the end of the day, that's what will pay for the technology, right? Now, what you see here is only the amount of trials where we were able to extract the statistic, and you see that. First of all, we have done a lot from 2022, 2023, 2024. We only have the data from Canada today. For your knowledge, we use that technology worldwide, so we have more data from other places. But for today's discussion, we focus on Canada, and we have great results. You could see here 2.8 increase, statistically significant on 21 sites. So that's a strong answer. Of course, we had non-responsible site. Part of the explanation, we believe, is because of the variability of it. As you know, when farming happened, things could get complicated. But with the LALRISE starch technology, the big take-home message here is that from the lab to the field, whether it's commercial trials or agronomic trials which replicate, we always see that yield bomb, and not always, but a lot of time. So you have good chance of success to provide a plant that will be fed properly and will be more resilient to tackle whatever will be in front of the season. And so for me, as an agronomist, the STAR technology is a powerful tool because we never know now what the season will be like. So a plant that is more resilient always seems like a good idea. Thank you, folks. Larson, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Nick, for that look into the field trials. I'm Larson Nelson, and I'm the technical sales rep for Western Manitoba and Southeast Saskatchewan. So LALRISE Star C is a liquid suspended concentrate designed for its ease of use. It contains Bacillus valzensis, which forms a beneficial relationship with the plant by colonizing the root zone and feeding off the exudates the roots release, which include sugars, amino acids, organic acids, and vitamins. This stimulates root growth and helps the plant establish itself effectively. The high concentration allows one 600 milliliter box to treat 8,000 pounds of cereal seed, which corresponds to 133 bushels of wheat. LALRISE Star C is a strong, robust spore-based product. It offers industry-leading on-seed survivability lasting up to 365 days when mixed with seed treatments. And lastly, it has proven itself with consistent results across Canada in different climates, pH, and soil types. And now we'll be going to questions.
We do have a question in the chat from Vernon. Thank you. It says mixed with seed treatment simultaneously.
This technology, for me, it's awesome. Yes, you can mix it directly with the seed treatment. So if you guys are used to rhizobia and inoculant, don't do it with rhizobia to mix it with the seed treatment. But with the bacillus technology here, it's a really robust technology. So the bacteria won't be affected by the seed treatment. So yes, you can mix it with most of the seed treatment. If you have any question on that, feel free to reach any of the, it's a good thing we are on that slide now, because you could ask your local reps. We have done most of the work in terms of seed treatment compatibility. And so far, nothing killed the bacteria. So yes, you can mix it simultaneously with the seed treatment, and it could even live on the tank mix.
Yeah, up to 2 days in the same tank mix with popular seed treatments that are on the market. And then we have over 1 year, and we continue to work on this compatibility testing, but over 1 year of on-seed application survival.
Again, like Nick said, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to one of the reps on the screen there. We also have a general email and a toll-free phone number, which you could also utilize as well. And with that, we will end the webinar. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and thank you for your time.